What do you do when you find yourself stuck in that same old trauma cycle with your thoughts spinning and feeling like, why am I experiencing this again? Why are these thoughts coming back? What is happening? I thought I already took care of this. I thought I already healed this. Well, I want to tell you that you're not broken. And I also want to tell you that you are not going backwards. That is really, really important. Sometimes we feel like because we, slide back into maybe a trauma cycle or we slide into, those negative thought patterns, we think that, oh my gosh, I'm undoing all the hard work that I've done up until this point. And that's not true. 100% not true. Basically, what it is congratulations, you are a human having human experience in this very human world. And there's nothing wrong with the experience that you're having right now. So for those of you who do not know who I am, my name is Adelle Skinner. I am a feminine energy and inner work coach. So I get to work with women as they're transforming their mind, as they're transforming their life and choosing and being more intentional about the thoughts that they're thinking and the feelings that they're feeling and the experiences that they are choosing to call into their lives. And it's one of the most rewarding things that I have ever done. So last week, I did not do an episode. I actually was really sick last week, so I wasn't able to do one. And I don't know if it's because of that, because I had kind of gotten out of my routine, but I had one of those weeks where I just sunk back into this cycle of negative feelings and of having a hard time with motivation and just like not wanting to do anything and just having a really hard time pulling myself out of the mud bog, basically. I just felt really, really stuck. And I can tell you from personal experiences that it's a hard place to be, especially when you've experienced the other side of it, right? Like when you've experienced those breakthroughs or when you've experienced those times when you're able to surrender the pain to God and you're just like, I feel so good. I will always feel good. I will never backslide. I will never go back to that other way of thinking because this feels so good. And it can get really frustrating. And I am right there with you. It is frustrating. But also, it's so important to realize that the journey that you're on, the things that you are experiencing are exactly the experiences that you need to experience to heal in the way that you need to heal. Even though you might, go back to some of those, say, old emotions that you thought you had gotten rid of, they're not the exact same emotion either. So there's a couple different ways to look at how we heal. So you could visualize like an onion. The first couple layers are really thick and there's like a lot that comes off in those. So you take those layers off and then you have a new fresh layer. Well, eventually, if you're wanting to get to the core of the onion, you have to keep peeling this onion down. And so each layer that comes off has to be removed. And that doesn't mean that that first layer is being removed again. It's already gone and discarded, but there are more layers in order to get to the core. And that is exactly how it is as we heal. So we may have been able to have like a really big breakthrough and have like this really incredible experience. And it was just really special. And we thought, there it is. I'm healed. I'm fine. I will never be triggered by this again. I will never experience this again. I will, whatever it is. And then the next thing you know, in a week, a couple weeks, a day, an hour, whatever, there you are, right back into this uncomfortable feeling of being unsettled and just not having the frame of mind that you wanted to have or that you thought that you had now achieved forever. But you're not removing those same pains. You're removing the ones that are now available for you to remove in order for you to get closer to the core. Another way of thinking about it is like weeding a garden. I like this visual because, you can weed a garden and it looks beautiful and wonderful. And then we get rain and it's fantastic. But what comes after that? More weeds. And so it's this constant maintenance of our mental health that we have to be doing on a continuous basis. So again, you're not removing those weeds from earlier. There are new ones. It's a new layer that you've reached. So it wouldn't make any more sense to look at the gardener and be angry at the gardener that there are more weeds growing. That's not their fault. It's just the nature of things. Or to look at the onion and be angry that there are more layers of healing to do or more layers to peel away to get to the core. It's just the nature of the onion. And so we need to offer ourselves the exact same grace. There's nothing wrong with us. You are not broken. You are whole and you are complete, but you are a mortal having a mortal experience. And with that is going to come opportunities to feel pain, to be triggered, to feel angry, to maybe sometimes choose emotions and experience emotions that we don't want. Unfortunately, sometimes it's those opportunities to experience what we don't want that shows us so clearly exactly what we do want. Like if you've been in a relationship that was not a good relationship, you can look at it and be like, okay, I know what I don't want. I know what didn't work for me. Therefore, I am crystal clear on what I do want, on what I will accept. And so instead of being angry with these emotions that come up, maybe just look at them as a way to teach you how to further become the woman that you want to become, the person that you're wanting to become. So as I was having an opportunity to re-experience this, one of the things that I was grateful for was the fact that I have spent so much time working on the grace model, working on the modality that I use to get me out of the funk, to get my mind back into the headspace and into the energy that I want to operate from. And so the reason it's so important to be practicing like the grace model or any other model or modality that you like to use, the reason it's really important to use that continuously and to be very aware of it is because you start to get something called muscle memory. So muscle memory is when you do something so often that you can do it without thinking. Like, have you ever been driving somewhere and kind of zoned out, and the next thing you know, you're at your destination? Like, say you're driving home, and the next thing you know, you're there, and it's like, well, how did it's scary, because you're like, I don't remember getting here. But at the same time, like, you have done it so many times that without conscious thought, without having to put anything into the GPS, like, you just show up to the destination that you want to be at. And so when you are doing your healing work, when you're doing your inner work, my recommendation is to not stop just because you're feeling good. So you can be feeling good, but that doesn't mean you stop journaling. That doesn't mean you stop feeling your emotions. That doesn't mean that you stop surrendering and giving things to God. You continually do that, because what that does is it gives you and it teaches you that muscle memory, so that when you are in the depths of despair, you can go back to that. You can rely on that. Like, I know what I'm supposed to do. And so that helped me a lot. And I just realized how grateful I am that I've been working so much on this, because I don't believe that we will ever get to a point where we never get triggered, where we never feel anxiety over certain things, or we never are upset over certain situations. Like, I don't think we're ever going to get to a place where you're just completely and totally zen all of the time. And so it's really important to know how to process and how to get to where you want to be, and to just build that muscle memory. Another reason that I believe, and this is just my belief, but one of the reasons I think that we continue to experience these, I'm going to put air quotes around, negative emotions, because you guys know that I don't really like to label emotions as negative or positive. They're just emotions. But, those emotions that maybe we don't naturally gravitate towards, or we don't naturally want. I think one of the reasons that we have an opportunity to experience them over and over again and to heal from different core wounds or traumas or just different things that have happened to us is because it keeps us in empathy for other people. So, a couple weeks ago, and when I was feeling really good and it was wonderful, like it felt good and I was really grateful for it and it was wonderful. But our brains, I'm so fascinated by them, how quickly we can forget or remember something, right? So you can be feeling really good and you forget what it's like to be in those depths of despair, in those painful moments. But when you experience them again, it reawakens that empathy and being like, oh my gosh, I remember what that's like. So that when you see someone else struggling, you have so much more compassion and empathy and a desire to pull them up to the level that you're at because you were just there and you know so acutely how painful that is. It's kind of like, if you look, I think of like a mom. So if my kids get sick and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, what can I do for you? I take care of them, whatever. I do all the things, of course. And then the next week I get sick and I realize absolutely how miserable they were. And I just think, I didn't do good enough. I didn't serve them enough because this is straight up the worst thing that's ever happened. I should have been more attentive. I should have. Like, you can't empathize completely with someone unless you have experienced it. And I think that, again, is part of the human experience. And I think it's really, really important. We are supposed to be in groups. We are supposed to be in families. We are supposed to be with people so that we can buoy them up, so that we can help them, so we can inspire them, and so that we can, guide them through their trials, and so that we can look ahead and be looking at where do I want to go, and then finding the people that are going to lead us in the direction that we want to go. So that's one of the reasons I think that empathy and compassion and like experiencing those painful things, it really heightens that empathy and that compassion, and it really helps you. So I was going through my funk. I was going through just no motivation. I mean, it's the beginning of summer. My kids are out of school, so my routine is just completely off. We're getting ready to go to a family reunion, and there's just like, I don't know, there's just like no schedule right now, and that has really messed me up. But also I think that there's no schedule because there was also just other things happening. And so it's been really good for me to go back to my grace model, to go back to connecting with my body, to breathing into it, and to feeling like, where do I feel tight? And it's amazing how our bodies and our minds will numb to pain. Sometimes we don't even notice that it's happening. One thing that I do know that I do in order to numb, if I don't want to process something, or if I just want to kind of tune out from the world, is I will find myself scrolling on my phone way more than I ever do, naturally. I'm usually not on my phone a whole lot. I mean, I play games on it, but I'm usually not on social media a whole lot. And so when I am on social media, I can catch myself and be like, oh, I'm numbing something. And so that's where the first step, the G step in grace, is really good because it pulls you back into your body. It gets you out of your mind. It gets you out of the numbing tendencies that you have, so that you can feel inside, where do I feel tight? And I just noticed that I had a lot of anxiety. And so I was feeling a lot of tension in my belly, just a lot of anxiety. The summers are always, well, this is our first summer, exchanging kids since my divorce. And so I don't really know how that's going to go. So I have some anxiety about that. And and just there's some big goals that I'm working on, and so there's just some anxiety with that. So just fear, like I was just feeling some fear of like I don't know how to show up as this new version of myself, right? And so I had to sit with that part of myself. I had to sit with myself, and I had to process those feelings and those emotions, and just hold on. What's that? All right. I think my daughter thought I was on the phone or something. So she came in, and then the dog came in, and then she couldn't get it out. Okay. So anyways, so yeah, I just had the opportunity to be able to process through those and recognize, oh, this is what I'm feeling. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing, instead of just like mindlessly scrolling, mindlessly continuing on this self-sabotage path, right? I was able to connect to my body, which was able to tell me, well, this is what's going on. This is what you're feeling. This is what you're thinking. And this is why you're doing the things that you're doing. And I just love that. Our intuition is so intelligent. Our body is so intelligent. If we are willing to get out of our heads and listen to what it is trying to tell us and be open to it, we can learn so much about ourselves and about what it is that we are experiencing and processing. Okay, so I went through that, and I just, focused on where am I feeling it in my body. And then I went to the next step, which is recognize, and just recognizing what is it that I'm feeling. And it took me a minute to really understand what it was. And that's okay. Again, sometimes and myself included, we've done inner work. We know what it's like, but yet sometimes we still get stuck, or sometimes we'll still have to work through and process things. And don't get frustrated. It's okay. You are experiencing exactly what you need to experience. And sometimes the resistance to experiencing the emotion is what you were supposed to experience. Like in my case, I resisted for days. I resisted this because it felt so heavy. And once I processed through it, I was like, okay, I think I was supposed to experience the resistance. I was supposed to remember how much I don't like being in resistance and how much I want to stay in the tell me what to do and I will do it stage. And so you can't be angry at yourself. It doesn't do any good. You can absolutely be angry with yourself. You're allowed. Like, I'm not going to tell you you're not allowed to do anything. You're totally allowed. But it doesn't do anything. It doesn't get you to where you want to be any faster. And it doesn't make you feel good in the long run. So just recognizing that and being like, okay, I'm feeling a lot of anxiety, and I'm feeling a lot of fear, and I'm feeling a lot of worry. And so I processed through that, and it felt just really good to be able to like put a name to it, and then put, that emotion to it. And when you do that, it's really cool because it's almost like your emotion is just an upset toddler that comes and like is yanking on your pant leg or whatever, and just wants you to look at them. And once you look at them and acknowledge them, then they're happy to go run off and do whatever it is they're going to do. Well, your emotions are very similar to that. Once you acknowledge it and be like, oh, okay, I'm feeling whatever it is, you can acknowledge it, you can sit with it for a minute, and it's really just like a couple of seconds, and then it's moved on. And sometimes you'll have another emotion come in and take its place, and then you can process through that as well. And you can do that as many times as you need to. Again, you think about, you're peeling this onion. There's nothing wrong with all of these emotions coming up. You're not creating these. I think that's really important for you to know as well, that just because you're willing to sit in these emotions doesn't mean that you are causing or creating the emotions to come to you. They were always there. They were kind of just always under the surface. And when you acknowledge that they're there, and when you open yourself up to feeling them, they're going to surface, and you want them to surface, because once they surface, then they can leave, and then they're gone. Again, peeling the onion. Once you peel that layer off, it's no longer attached to the onion. You can't put it back and make it the way that it was before. Like, you just can't. Or weeding a garden. You can't put the weeds back and make it as it was before. Like, once it's been removed, it's been removed. And so it's okay. Go through the emotions, as many as you need to. And sometimes if you're feeling overwhelmed by the emotions, you can always turn it off. Like, this is not, you turn on the faucet and it just is going to flood the house. That's not how it works. You are always in control, always in control. So you can ask, sometimes if I'm feeling really overwhelmed, sometimes I will ask, I'll be like, Heavenly Father, please just give me what I can handle today. Like, I feel a lot right now. Give me a little bit less. I need a little bit less. And he 100% will respect and honor you. And he will respect and honor what you feel like you are capable of doing. He's not going to be disappointed in you. He's not going to, tack it on later to really give it to you later. Like, he's so understanding and he loves us so much. And he is willing to sit with us in the pain. He's willing to be right there with us. And so just remember, you are in control. You get to decide how much you're feeling. You get to decide how much you're physically able to handle. And you're allowed to ask for a break. You're allowed to ask for a little bit of a relief. And you'll get it. You will always get it. He's not there to punish you. He is there to help and to guide and to help you to heal. So after you acknowledge the feeling, that is, we did grace, which is grounding, or we did G, which is grounding, R for recognize, A for accept, which is basically just being like, yeah, that's okay. Like, it's okay that I'm feeling these emotions. There's nothing wrong with feeling emotions. And honestly, I think I've said it before in other episodes, but you only feel the true emotion for 30 to 90 seconds. After that, you're feeling a memory of the emotion. So just know that your emotion is not going to crush you. It's not going to last for hours. Like, you're going to feel that emotion, and when you can really and truly surrender into it and just allow it to be there, then in 30 to 90 seconds, you are going to be feeling so much better, and you've opened up space for possibly a new emotion to come in and to process through that. So don't be scared. Don't be scared of them, even though, I was there, right? Like, I was there. I spent days resisting. But also, once I did allow myself to feel, it was amazing how quickly I was able to process through, how much better I felt. And then I always look back and I'm like, why did I fight it for so long? Like, that was so stupid. Like, I know that it's going to be okay. I know that it's going to be fine, but it's really vulnerable. And it's really, sometimes it's just really hard to look at the pain that you're feeling, or the thoughts that maybe are coming up, the fears that are, that you're having to face. It can be really scary. But you know what's worse? Spending days resisting something that takes 30 seconds, right? I'll speak from experience because I just did this, right? That was way worse. Spending the days, going to bed way too late, waking up way too late, and just, throwing my routine out the window, and just really avoiding any type of emotion. That was way worse than the 30 seconds of actually facing my fear and being like, oh, I feel really anxious. Okay, so you've accepted it, you've acknowledged that it's there, and you're like, yep, that's okay, I'm here for it. That's a phrase that I like to use a lot. Like, I'm here for it. Like, I am totally here for the healing. There are moments that I will turn tail and run for just a second, and then I catch myself and I come back and I just, remind myself, hey, I'm here for it. I signed up for this. I want to heal. I want to be the best version of myself. And I love myself enough to do the work to get to where I want to be. So once you've done that, then you get to the C step, which is connecting with God. And this is, you are connecting with God through the entire thing, because you're surrendering into the feelings. That is definitely connecting with God. But this last step is where you get to receive information from him. And it's really a neat step. This is where you get to connect with him and be like, all right, who do you want me to be on the other side of this? I was feeling a lot of anxiety. I have a lot of fear. I have a lot of worry about how this summer is going to go. Who do you want me to be on the other side of this? How do you want me to show up? And then reminding myself, what is my job and what is God's job? So many times we like to swerve over and try to be in God's lane. And it just never works. We can't be in God's lane. We don't belong there. Things never work out. We cause traffic jams and we cause rollovers and we cause all these accidents to happen when we try to take control of God's lane. And so we need to get back into our lane. Like, what is my job? What can I do? Like, what is my responsibility? And what do I need to allow him to have control over? What do I need to surrender to him? Because I cannot control, that outcome. So that one's a really, really special step for me because I always get the answers that I need. And it's so fun. When I get these answers, it'll be like, oh my gosh, like what a good idea. He's so smart. He's so clever. Like he has the best plans. You guys, he knows exactly what to do to get you to where you want to be in the best possible way with the best possible outcomes, in a way that's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt other people. It's going to keep you so safe and so secure, and you're going to feel so good with that as your destination. He's just so good. So many times I try to take control and I have to remind myself, Adele, like that's not your job. That's not your job. Get back in your lane. And also I remind myself that whatever he tells me to do, I will do it. Like I want to be that woman. I want to be the woman that when I get inspiration, when I get intuition, when I am connected to him, that I trust him enough to say, all right, whatever it is you tell me, I will do it. And then the last step is E for embody. And this is where you get to decide if you truly will follow through. It's kind of, where the rubber hits the road. Like, are you, you can have the idea. He can tell you this is going to make your life so much easier. But just because we know what we should do, and just because we, have had that inspiration, doesn't always mean that we follow through, right? Like, we're human, and sometimes we just fall back into fear, and we fall back into not trusting. So that last step is really, really, really important. It's where you get to decide, am I actually going to follow through with this? Am I going to do the things that I know I need to do to become the woman that I want to be, to live the life that I want to live? So yeah, that doing that grace model and practicing it and working on it and studying it in the good times makes it so much easier in the crisis moments, right? That's when, that muscle memory is able to kick in, and it's just like, okay, I know what I need to do. I don't have to think about it. I don't need to worry about it. Like, I know that I'm going to go right into my my body and my feeling and move through that process. And it is so it's so transformational, and it makes the hard times much less, and it gives you such a good direction of where you want to be and how you want to get there. So I hope that this video has been helpful. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope that you've learned something from it. And I hope that you remember that it doesn't matter where you are on your healing journey. You're going to have opportunities to continue to heal. And that's okay. Like, it's supposed to be that way. There's nothing wrong with it. So don't be frustrated. Don't get discouraged. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Something that really gives me so much comfort is the idea that nothing that God has planned for you will ever pass you by as long as you are willing to receive it. So sometimes we might get a little bit frustrated and be like, oh, like I need to heal so that I can have this or this or this, or so that I can move on and do this and this and this. Because you're afraid, you're worried possibly that if you don't do it now, you're going to miss out. Like if you don't heal now, then you're going to miss out on your future husband. Or if you don't heal now, you're going to miss out on this really great business opportunity. Or if you don't heal now, you're never going to have a good relationship with your children. Like that's not the case. nothing that is meant for you will pass you by. Nothing. Like there's, if you're not healed and you're not ready to meet your future husband, he's not out there. Like he's just not available. It doesn't matter how much you look. You won't find him because he's literally not available because you're not ready. Or, with this business opportunity, if you're wanting to do something and you're going to hustle and grind and like force yourself, it's that opportunity is actually not even there. So you're fighting and you're struggling for something that's like not even available because you're not ready. But the minute you become ready, it is available. And so that has just given me a lot of comfort as I go through these like highs and lows, right? Sometimes when you're in your low, it's like, oh my gosh, all of these good opportunities are passing me by because I can't get my act together. That's not true. Like I promise you that nothing that is supposed to be for you is passing you by. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. You're experiencing exactly what you need to experience to become the woman that you need to become so that you can have everything that you have always wanted. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, and where you're at is okay. So that's something that I feel so much comfort in when I remember that. And it's like, oh, that feels so good, because then you can relax and be like, okay, I'm just going to let myself heal. I'm just going to let myself process. I'm going to let myself do what I need to do and not stress about whether or not I'm going to get what it is that I want. So again, if this was helpful, please share, and please like and subscribe. And also, if you want to work with me personally, I do have my links down below that you can connect with me there. And I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye.